Yo, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Tay TV. And my video for today, I'm going to be reacting to another testimony from Letitia. This is my first time watching this. So in this video, she's going to talk about she lost her house. Her car was repossessed and she had no money, and her being on a prayer line made it worse. Let's see what she has to say. As you guys know, she's been sharing her testimonies, which I know is blessing people. So let's get into this one.
My house, my car was repoed. I had no money. I had to go live with family in another state to get on my feet again. And this was my second wilderness season.
This was her second wilderness season. This was her second wilderness.
Let me start by saying this. The best thing that happened to me was that I lost everything.
Wow.
Because it was in...
Oh, okay, matter of fact, I'm going to give my thoughts as I'm reacting, but she said something. She said, hold up, let me go back.
Let me start by saying this. The best thing that happened to me
was that I lost her was
everything.
That she lost everything.
Because it was in losing everything that I had to learn what was actually important, and that is God. Y'all, I was in the worst, I'm not going to say the worst because I've had multiple, okay? I was in one of the worst times of my life, okay? Y'all, I literally was about to start drinking to try to numb my pain, okay? I was going through so much in my life, and it's like the enemy was just chunking all of my memories at my head. Like he was reminding me of every single thing I've ever been through, like every failure, every time my innocence was stolen, every time somebody lied on me, every time somebody broke my heart, every time I was traumatized. It's like he was throwing all this at my mind and trying to get me to take myself out as a result of not being able to deal with all of this. Y'all, it felt like my world was, it didn't feel like it was collapsing. It felt like it was over. It felt like it was over. Imagine like being younger and seeing your life and seeing yourself and where you're going to be, right? And how you're going to be doing. And then all of a sudden you get to this place in life and the entire rug is pulled out from up under you, almost as if you believed a lie. You believed that you were going to be someone. You believed that God was going to use you, but somehow, some way, nothing seemed to go in the right direction for you.
Okay.
Y'all, this is where I was. I was literally, and I'm not even a drinker. Like I never have been a drinker. Like on rare occasions, like celebrations, I used to drink a glass of wine or whatever. And it just wasn't my thing. I couldn't even finish a glass of wine. Like, I've never been a drinker like that, okay? But y'all, I was in such a dark place. Oh my God, I was in such a dark place. And I was like, I need to have a bottle on my nightstand at all times because I just need to get drunk. I don't want to feel this pain no more. And to make matters worse, y'all. Woo, Lord, I called a prayer line. Y'all, I'm telling you, I have had some things happen in my life that make me go wow, okay? I called a prayer line, y'all. And when I called this prayer line, that was my attempt to just kind of disclose my life and get some prayer to get on track. And somebody help me, please, right? Because I couldn't pray for myself. Have you ever been in a situation where you just can't pray for yourself? No, I needed someone to pray for me, right? So I was at the time starting to listen to this popular ministry on television, and they always had this prayer line, and it was just a really good teaching ministry. And so I was starting to try to get myself back on pace with God. Okay, remember I told y'all I love the Lord, but I have strayed away multiple times. I have gotten to the place where I thought I was doing the right thing in God, and all of a sudden, life just slapped me again, and it felt like I just was confused all over again, like what is happening? So this is kind of where I was, right? So I reach out to this ministry for prayer right now. You guys go back to the testimony where I tell you about how I got kicked out of my church, right? And that whole situation with the pastor and all that, right? So that was also weighing on my heart. I felt tremendous guilt from that. And at the time, I was thinking, I'm going to go to hell because I was with the pastor and this and that, not understanding that he was the one who was the predator and all this other stuff, right? I didn't understand that at the time because I was still fairly young, okay? So I was still dealing with the guilt of that situation and not looking at it the way I should have been looking at it, right? So it was all the stuff, feeling like, oh my God, my life is not good. I didn't do this. I didn't go to college at that time. I hadn't gone to college yet. I just felt like I was a total failure in my life, okay?
I can't say she bounced back. Even through her wilderness seasons, she bounced back.
The lady answered the phone,
she bounced back strongly too.
Oh my God. I started talking to her and I started telling her the things that I was battling in my mind, right? I started sharing with her the situation with the pastor, the issue with the pastor, and how I felt about it, and my guilt about it, and how I had grown up with his kids, and how his wife was kind of like a mentor to me, and this and that, right? I disclosed to her what happened. Do y'all know this lady on the other end of the prayer line started condemning me? I'm not making it up, y'all. She was
started condemning her.
Why would you do something like that if you knew that he was married? That's what she said to me. She totally glanced over the fact that this man has been in my life since I was a little girl, and I was 18 when he decided to take advantage of me, and I was caught in a situation that I didn't know how to say no in because of years of past trauma and abuse. Y'all, I'm telling you, she said that to me, and I was on the phone stuck.
She was on the phone stuck.
Why would you do that if you knew that he was married? How could you do that to his wife if she was so good to you? Y'all, I wish I was making it up. This is a prayer line. You know, you call in the prayer line, call in if you need prayer. It's an 800 number, the whole nine, right? I call in my lowest moment, y'all. When
she called in at her lowest moment.
Oh my God, I was so low. I had a bottle on my nightstand ready to drink my sorrows away. I was in a bad place, and that was my attempt.
Her life. And I remember I heard this woman say that once you're in the bad hole, it's really hard to get out of, and that is facts, man. She said once you're in a bad hole, it's really hard to get out of.
Reaching for someone to pray me out of that, and that's what I got on the other end. Woo! Y'all, that took me under. And I didn't even know how to fix myself to say, like, well, I was 18. I didn't understand and I didn't know, and he took advantage of me. That little girl in me was back on that phone. Like, that was the little girl in me was back again. I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know what to say, and I felt that guilt of shame all over again. So I was pretty much quiet after that. And she was talking whatever, and then she was like, you know, let me pray for you. But it was in such a mean spirit. Oh my God, y'all.
Yeah, I know. She hung up.
When I think back on that, I'm like, that was horrible. I hope nobody else had to experience that. It was so bad that I was going to reach out to the ministry, and because this minister, now I will say this, his ministry is the truth. This ministry with him and his wife is the truth. They just got a bad seat on the phone that day. They hired the wrong person to be on the prayer line. But I was going to reach out and let them know, like, this is what happened when I called in. It was so disheartening to me. But I knew the ministry was the truth. So I still followed the ministry for years after that. It took me a while to start looking at them again because I was so
It took a
damaged by
while.
that. But some years later, I started kind of like listening to them again because I was able to heal from that. But y'all, that one situation, she prayed for me, and
And
it was
mean
almost a
spirit.
mean spirited prayer. I could
She
hear
could
the
tell and
like
hear it in
almost
her
disgust in
voice.
her voice with me, and it was so disheartening. So needless to say, get off the phone with her, and I cried my
She
eyes out,
cried.
y'all. So I was already in a dark place, right? So fast forward, I want to say like maybe I cried myself to sleep. The next day, I was in a depressed state. I was in a bad state of mind. So I started drinking. I took this bottle, y'all, and I started drinking.
She started
And
drinking.
I was trying to drink my
Her
sorrows
pain away.
away. I didn't want to feel nothing. I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to be here. I was just like, I don't want to feel nothing no more.
She didn't want to be here no more.
And
Dang.
y'all, I'm drinking, and the next thing I know, I'm crying my eyes
She
out.
crying her
I'm
eyes
bawling
out.
so hard. And I got ready to get up and try to get myself together, right? And try to like at least wash my face and do something and
Right.
just try to act like life is normal for a second, okay?
She got right
It didn't
happen.
work. I got out the bed, y'all, took maybe 5 or 6 steps and ended up on the floor, in the middle of the bedroom, on a hardwood floor, on my face, crying. Like, God,
Dang. She really was crying on the
what's
floor.
happening with me? While I was crying, y'all, I could hear literally there was this strong, dark presence like, you don't need to be here. You messed up too many times. It was the enemy trying to get me to take myself out. I'm talking about, y'all, it was as plain as day. As I'm sitting here talking to you, that's how strong the impression was. It was like, you know, it's all the memories started coming back. Boom, 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 right? All the bad memories, all the trauma. Woo, y'all. I was already on the brink of like losing my place, losing my car,
Losing
like
her place
everything
and
was
losing
going
her car.
bad, right? I was in a horrible place. So as this voice, as this demonic force is trying to get me to off myself, okay, to unalive myself, I heard the voice of the Lord so clearly. And when
So
I say
clearly,
I heard the voice of the Lord,
so
I know
clearly. That's a powerful thing. She said she heard the voice of the Lord so clearly, and that's great that she can discern the Lord's voice and the enemy voice, and that's very important. You got to know which is which.
Ask this question. No, it wasn't an audible voice, but it felt audible in my spirit, almost as if someone is speaking to you, but they're whispering to you. That's the best way I can describe it. But your spirit is hearing it. Okay. So over here, this presence is like, you don't need to be here, reminding me of every mistake I've ever made, everything that was ever said to me that was horrible, that was harmful, everything ever done to me just made me feel like a complete failure, right? And then through all of that, because I was at the point of getting ready to like end it, I was trying to in my head, like, yeah, I'm agreeing with this voice over here, like, yeah, I'm pointless, I'm worthless, I'm nothing, this and this and that, and I don't want to feel this pain no more, whatever. I was agreeing with this demonic voice, y'all, with this force that was trying to get me to end myself. And then the stronger, louder, softer whisper of a voice spoke to my spirit and asked me a question. Where are you? 3 words. And I cried and I cried, and I heard it again as I continued to cry. Where are you? 3 words. The Lord asked me twice, and I just folded and I said, Lord, I'm lost. I'm lost, God, I'm lost. And the Lord said to me, now this is the crazy part. This was before I lost my house.
That was before she lost
my car was repoed. I was in a situation where it was looking like I was getting ready to lose everything, right? But this was before it was final, before it came to a head and all that happened. The Lord said to me, if you tell people of my love when you have nothing, I will bless you beyond measure.
Wow, I
And
gotta play
cried my
that
eyes
back.
out and I said, okay,
I gotta
God,
play that
okay.
back. Hold up.
God, I'm lost. And the Lord said to me, now this is the crazy part. This was before I lost my house, before my car was repoed. I was in the situation where it was looking like I was getting ready to lose everything, right? But this was before it was final, before it came to
Before
a head
that
and all that
came to a
happened.
head.
The Lord said to me, if you tell people
If you tell
of my
people
love
of my love
when you have
when you have nothing,
I
I will
will
bless you
beyond
beyond measure.
measure.
Wow. That's
And
powerful.
I
Y'all bless
cried
her
my eyes
beyond
out and I
measure.
said,
Okay.
God, okay, I will. Not knowing that I was getting ready to lose everything.
Not knowing she's getting ready to lose everything.
After that, maybe a month or two after that, I lost my house. Car was repoed. Had no money. Had to go live with family to try to get back on my feet. And that wasn't even my first wilderness, okay? But this was the worst one yet.
But that was the worst
this
one
was the
yet.
one that made me want to end it all. Y'all, I was in a wilderness season from that point for about 6 years.
For about 6 years?
And there were times.
Oh, wow. 6 years?
When it felt like it was never going to end.
But I
remember that moment with God. It could not be denied. It could not be denied. So here is what losing everything taught me. It taught me that nothing matters outside of God. It taught me that although I thought I was a good person, and although I thought I loved the Lord, right? And I was doing Christian things, right? I was going to church. I was doing the Christian stuff, okay? But my relationship had a break in it. There was a break in my relationship with God. And this is why I continue to fall off. This is why I continue to slip back into this darkness. Because I wasn't solidified in my relationship with God. But God had to allow me to go through that wilderness to show me who I really was without the connection of relationship with Him. And who I was a believer only in name. Who I was somebody who thought they was all that because they had stuff. Because I had cars, I had a nice house, I had multiple cars, I had good money. Right? I've always been a person that's been very resourceful and very creative and able to use my gifts and talents to do what the Bible says, to obtain wealth, right? But God had to break all of that up for me to be able to understand that it's not about that. It's about Him. So He wanted me to see where my heart really was.
Her heart really was. He wanted to see where her heart really was without stuff. Whoa. I'm glad that she bounced back and she realized that God is the most important. He really is.
Oh my God. It's almost like when you lose everything, you gain so much more. You gain understanding of life that you didn't previously have. Kind of like when you lose a loved one, right? When you lose someone close to you, a brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a friend, in that moment, you are sober. You're sober. When you lose them, the reality of the truth of life smacks you in your face, and it cannot be denied. And that is that tomorrow is not promised to anybody. That is that what matters most is life. Not the things that life brings, but life itself, love, peace, joy, all of the things that we find as we are connected to God, y'all. I'm telling you, y'all, I lost everything to the point where I had to literally ask for money to buy personal items.
She
I
had to
had to
ask
be
for money to
giving
buy
money
her
just to buy
personal
tampons and
items.
stuff, y'all. It was like that. It went from me having it all, from people coming to stay with me when they need help, from me helping people financially, to being living in my auntie's house in her guest bedroom. Like I never had nothing going on in my life. The most humbling and
The most
humiliating
humbling
experience
and
at the same
humiliating
time.
experience
Because what I
at the
found
same time.
was that I actually had too much what's what I'm looking for, trust and
Trust.
faith in the stuff that I had. I I kind of viewed myself by the things that I had and by my accomplishments, right? Y'all, I'm just keeping it real with you. I didn't know it though. I didn't know it, and I would have never known it until God stripped it all from me, until He allowed it to be stripped from me. I didn't know it. I didn't realize that, oh, I'm only thankful because I'm not broke.
Because
I'm
she's not
only
broke.
thankful because I have a roof over my
Because she
head.
has
I'm
a
only
roof over her
thankful
head.
because I have money.
Because she has
I
money.
didn't know that until I didn't have it.
Till she didn't have
And
it.
God said to me, if you tell people of my love and my goodness and you push them towards me when you don't have a penny to your name, when you have nothing, I will bless you beyond measure. That's exactly what He did. Because He is a promise keeper, y'all.
He did.
Listen,
He did.
I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what God did. I also learned there were people who only showed me respect and love because of what I had. So, listen, that saying is true. Like, you realize who your real friends are and who the real people are in your life when you ain't got nothing. When you busted and disgusted, you will see who's for you and who's not. But when you got it going on, you don't know, because everybody's looking at you like, oh wow, you're this and you're that. But when you don't have a penny to your name and you can't even buy yourself a Happy Meal, then you see how people treat you. You see the ones that are real and you see the ones that are
That's
not.
right.
You see that people view you by your status in life, your financial position in life, and what you have. And many people want to be associated with you because of that. But the moment that you don't have it, you're not that popular no more. Okay? Y'all, what God taught me in this time of having nothing, I would do it all over again. All over again, y'all. So much to the point where I told the Lord, because God started taking me deeper in His presence, y'all. I started getting closer to Him. I started consecrating and fasting and getting up in the middle of the night praying and worshiping. There's no sweeter place to be than in the presence of God. So much so to the point, y'all.
This is that good, y'all. Really, really good.
God, if I ever lose sight of you again and what matters, strip me again. Strip me again, God. That's how much I came to the understanding of how important my relationship with God is, and stuff is stuff. So now that God has blessed me, right, to have a nice place, to have a home in another state, God has blessed me with finances, and He's blessed me financially, right? He's blessed me. He's placed me back in a position to be able to help people. He's placed me back in a position of strength for real. Now that He's done that, the stuff is not my cover. The stuff doesn't have me. God does. And I have the stuff. So it's okay. If I lose it again, I can give something away without feeling like, oh my God, I'm never going to get it back. Because I now understand.
That's right.
That the stuff does not matter. This is the reason why. Once you become humble and you turn towards the Lord for real, you surrender for real, and you stop caring about what looks like success and what people think of you, and you care more about what God thinks of you, this is the reason why shortly thereafter
That's
you
right.
have overflow. You have
I
more than
love
enough.
this,
You
y'all.
have abundance
This
because
video was
God is
great.
faithful. And if you position your heart right, He will bless you beyond measure.
Hmm.
Be blessed on today. I love you on today. God loves you so much. Until next time, I'll see you soon.
Wow, speechless. This video was good, and like I said, it was a time when I was at my lowest point, but then God completely just turned my life around and elevated me. And like I said, when I was at my lowest, I wasn't praying like I need to, but when I started to pray, that's when God began to move and to turn my life around. Prayer is really important. Having a relationship with God is very is really like really important. Like it's not a game. But I'm glad she's doing much better. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Join my Patreon for dope anime reactions. I'll see y'all.